What's going on, ladies and gents? Jake, a.k.a. Countdown Ended, bringing you our 2025 end-of-the-year wrap-up, according to Sports Illustrated and WWE themselves. And of course, you know I am not alone. I've got the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Cody O'Needy 316.
Give me a hell yeah.
What's going on? I can't wait to get into these, especially the Sports Illustrated one, because JD got caught under the fire with Dave Meltzer and Sports Illustrated writers and all of that for critiquing this and saying that Sports Illustrated was obviously paid by AEW. We're going to tell you if that's an overreaction or not by JD's part, all due respect to him, or do we think this is kind of like a shit post, like, of the year awards? But at the end of the day, it's just opinionated, so we'll critique it and shit on it. But like, you shouldn't get all riled up and offended, no matter what.
Exactly.
Regardless,
like what you like, and don't get upset.
Yep.
Oh, I'm telling you, bud. We've covered a lot through the holiday season already. We've gotten into the worst of WWE and all they had to offer this year so far. You guys can check that out on the channel.
And, Jake, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, all these other wrestling podcasters, I said, with all due respect, have the right to their own opinions, because half of them said they liked it, half of them said they didn't. But at the end of the day, how much does it really matter what an article gives you? How much will affect your wrestling fandom?
Exactly, because they should only be listening to us.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
right.
You're damn right. That's why we're making our video. And
They need to listen to into somewhere.
Our content
it's
and our
our opinion
are the
that
only ones
matters.
that matter.
Yeah.
Not
right.
JD's, not Santi's, I'm not comment. Okay, I'm sorry, everyone.
Oh,
all
you're
gonna
getting
be on the
ahead of
audio nice
yourself.
list tomorrow.
That's right. You guys tune
Okay.
in tomorrow, Christmas Eve. We're going to have our WWE AEW wrestling content creator naughty and nice list. That's right. We'll be going through our little holiday season in full swing.
We'll have
And,
friends on there,
Yeah.
foes, former colleagues. You never know who's going to appear on the
Who's
naughty
going
and
to
nice list.
show up for our Christmas extravaganza itself? And then we'll have more content coming to you throughout the weekend. AEW World's End predictions and live reviews and whatnot. So, yeah, this list
all
is
that shit.
very interesting because it feels poignantly pointed against WWE. It doesn't feel like they're celebrating cowboy shit. It feels like they're doing rivalry shit. It almost feels like Sports Illustrated here is on the take for the takedown. We get into their 2025 wrestling list, and they say right away this goes from December 16th last year, 2024, to the 13th of this year. And they ranked their top 5 selections for each category. The winners were determined by the total number of points voted upon by editors and columnists at Sports Illustrated's Takedown. That includes Blake Lovell and John Alba and Sid Polar III, Zach Hayden, and many others. So thanks to them for putting together this comprehensive list. Or is it a comprehensive list of bullshit? Because here we go, storyline of the year. According to the Takedown on SI, last year's winner was the Bloodline saga continuing in WWE. This year,
the Cody Rhodes. Roman
yes,
Reigns. That's rightfully the winner, right?
that was a 2-year arc essentially with Cody being involved and longer with Roman. So yeah, I totally understand that. I know you're not entirely on this one, but I understand why they chose their winner, Hangman Adam Page's redemption arc and ascension to AEW champion. I almost said WWE there. Whoops. Don't want to get sued early for the holidays.
See, for me, like, here's what I do it. Like, I think some people, like, maybe overreacted saying this rivalry sucks and whatnot. Like, but it's not like I don't think it's like a shit post, like, award. Like, I think I wouldn't personally put it as my rivalry. It's story of the year, right?
Yeah,
Then-
story of the year.
Oh, Oh, yeah, story of the year. So I don't think it's really that much of a story to begin with, because Hangman Adam Page went the entirety of the year being the heel, and then randomly he was like, all right, I'm going to be the one to take them down, which they're still around, by the way, right?
Yeah,
And
they are. That
so
is true. The
his
Death
whole-
Riders have not been taken down. That was actually the runner-up storyline, the downfall of the Death Riders. But I don't see their downfall. Just
I
because
don't see
Moxley
their
lost, they haven't had a
I'm still
downfall.
waiting for it.
The other runner-up was John Cena's retirement. I don't know how that didn't win. I mean, that's really not a storyline, but they turned it into one. But with the thing is with Hangman.
Honestly, I think that would win over Hangman though, because the Hangman's isn't really a story, and Hangman
it is a story. See, I'll argue that one because it is a story. Hear me out here, really quick. Maybe I'll convince you otherwise. But Hangman, he not only desired to be the best, but he started off with his mentor, Christopher Daniels, who he put to pasture. That's it. He's gone. They had their Texas death match, and he put his friend out, and he thought that's what he wanted, but then he realized, damn, this is not me. So then he goes to take on Will Ospreay, to who's going to be the heart of the company, the real, face of the place. And they continue to have all of these different interactions and moments where Hangman had to either come to terms with his shitty behavior and apologize, like to Swerve, like to many others, along the way, or he had to face his fears and admit his failures. And they had him basically ascend up the rankings to win the Owen, and then to go ahead and be the one to be essentially not just chosen, because he earned it by winning the Owen, but he also essentially was kind of chosen by the locker room. Swerve gave him the chain, and everybody came around him and tried to help him win. Multiple people got stretchered out of there, a la a Bloodline Rules match. But really, the entire face side of the locker room was supporting Hangman taking out Moxley. I can see why it was their most important story of the year on the AEW side, but I also see your point because the follow-up was tremendously awful. He did this huge moment in Texas, All In. He gets the belt. We haven't seen the belt in almost a year. It's got Bryan's frickin' side plates on it still. That's the last time we saw it, when they choked him with a plastic bag. And Hangman is now the guy. He disbanded and destroyed the Death Riders, and he didn't. And he didn't. He didn't accomplish anything. So I understand your point of, I think it was a story personally, but I just think it ended up being a badly told story because they had this big planned ascension, but it went nowhere. He didn't accomplish anything. He won the title, but he barely got to defend it. He lost it anticlimactically and in a non-triumphant manner. And it led to nothing. The Death Riders still exist. They're still running roughshod in all the faces. So what was the point of any of this?
So here's my take on that.
Yes.
So you can argue maybe that it was a story in some regard, but this wouldn't have even happened if Darby Allin didn't decide to climb Mount Everest and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And the only other two options were Will Ospreay and Adam Page. So you go and say, all right, it could be one of those two now, because you have to randomly choose someone because the main character is gone. So Adam,
the one that made sense.
Page,
yes,
yeah,
the one they built into. They had the
Ospreay.
story pretty much around Darby getting attacked, being taken out, kicked down the stairs, and forced out by injury, and then, like you said, he's going to go, and he can't climb Everest last year because of his broken foot. So now he's doing it this year. He misses the builds for All In, so they go with Hangman. Like you said, yeah, people get injured.
Hangman, Adam Page, and Will Ospreay, though, I believe the report said that neither of them wanted to win the match to go and face. So
which is ridiculous.
I don't know.
We critiqued on that then, and see, this is why I love having you here, because you've made so many great points that I've totally forgotten about, and that's a great point too, that neither man wanted to win. Nobody had the belief in themselves or the poise to really go ahead and want to be the top guy. We felt like, it's not me, it should be you. As we're WWE, you have people clamoring and fighting, saying, I'm the guy, listen to me. So that was a bit surprising. And then you also mentioned a great point, the Death Riders went nowhere, and it was Darby's story, just like it wasn't Cody's story, but they made it work. I feel like with this, they turned into it the best they could. There was a story there, it just wasn't great, and it went nowhere. So having this be the moment, or the storyline of the year, I get why on the AEW side, because really, what was the other main story? But with WWE, if we look at all the storylines, we really didn't have many this year. And the one thing that we didn't discuss on the worst,
I would argue that if we're going storyline, I wouldn't say John Cena's retirement tour, because I would just say that was I wouldn't even call that a storyline either. I would say it was Punk and Rollins.
I mean, that's a really good back and forth.
It started at the Royal Rumble,
Actually, it
But
started
they both
before then. It
got
started
each
at
other.
Netflix's debut. They had their
Yeah,
one-on-one
that is
match.
true.
From there
That is true.
it went to the
Then
races.
Rumble. Then they both couldn't get out of their own egos, so they got each other eliminated, and they just started brawling after the elimination. Then
Paul Heyman's
WrestleMania comes
betrayal.
around. CM Punk has Paul Heyman be his wise man for that, and then Paul Heyman turns on his best friend for CM Punk's worst enemy in the world. Then you head into the summertime where CM Punk finally wins the gold, and Seth takes that right away immediately from CM Punk.
Yeah.
And I think those are more story elements than what we got with Hangman Adam Page. And
Damn, you have sold me. You have convinced me entirely. Yeah, that probably should be story of the year because of, I mean, all the different elements, the forming of the Vision and how that played out. And then now being ostracized from the Vision, but going ahead and still feuding with Punk. It's interesting to see where Rollins is going to come back into. If he is a face role because he got taken out from the group, does the crowd accept him as such? There's a lot of depth there. Here's the thing. Hangman didn't have the depth, and Cena's retirement wasn't the story. The story was his heel turn. It should have been his retirement and him trying to become champion and him getting number 17. And we've discussed that to death, obviously. And as I was saying before, too, the one thing I didn't bring up on the worst of story is because it's not the worst and it's not the best. We're going to discuss it individually, our own little quick video, but the trials and tribulations of Karrion Kross is its own thing entirely. I know some people commented saying, what about Kross? How is that not the worst of the year? And it's up, it's I don't know if it could be viewed as the worst. I think it's a big change. So we'll have our own little discussion of that. But storyline of the year, I think you're right, and I give it to you,
worse
sir.
Is something that impacts like WWE or AEW heavily, and like Karrion Kross. With all the respect to him, like how much did him not being there impact the shows?
Exactly. People barely remember that he's there. So, and he could have had a major rivalry with many of people. Him and Sammy, we thought could have been this great thing.
And why, if you're gonna have him have great matches with someone, why not fucking Sami Zayn out of all people, right?
Absolutely. And speaking about great matches, they give the rivalry of the year for the next category. Last year's winner, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Of course. I mean, no shit. This year, though, they gave the runner-up to CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Toni Storm and Mariah May because they're winners. All AEW's, pulling through right now into the station. Choo-choo. Who is it? It's Hangman and Moxley. Everything you said, Cody, encapsulates why this isn't feud of the year. Yes, Moxley had an elite stranglehold, pun intended. He had an elite stranglehold on the entire championship, division. He had that thing locked down. Nobody saw that belt, and the belt itself didn't see the light of day until he lost at Texas's All In. But as you pointed out so poignantly before, rather poetically, Darby was the man to do it and couldn't because he had dreams to achieve. Mother. So instead, it's Hangman. You can't forget, he already had Spike in his back. Moxley had fought through with Cope and many others, all these drastically horrible and lengthy blood battles that no one gave a shit about. All of the Death Riders stuff was death. It was terrible. For about 8-9 months, everybody complained about the Ku Klux Combat Club and how terrible they were, how shitty everything was, how just boring and predictable and piss poor.
I think they mistaken this for worst rivalry of the year.
So Hangman earns the opportunity to face him by winning the Owen Hart tournament. Yes, he wins the Owen, which is great, but it's not really a story. You won a tournament and now you're the number one contender. And yes, the story was, can I do it? Can I believe in myself? Do I have the support? So we saw everyone get involved, Bryan and Darby and all these different faces and foes, and Paige went on for 6 singles matches, and none of them felt massive afterwards. Like every bit of this was just a silly, and the match itself that they had to conclude their rivalry in All in Texas, yes, the ending was emotional and he hung them, but I thought that was going to be the death note for the Death Riders, and it wasn't, so it made the match pointless, essentially. But everything they had in that, the bed of nails and Darby descending from the rafter, all of it does not make it rivalry of the year. I agree. I think it should be Punk and Rollins.
Yeah.
And people, Punk again? Yeah, because him and Drew. And Punk was injured most of the year, and him and Drew was still far better than anything else. I didn't understand.
Storyline of the year sometimes can also turn into rivalry of the year.
Mm-hmm. It should be one and the same, essentially.
And you can argue that CM Punk and Seth Rollins wasn't that great as well, but like the piss poor wrestling product we got in 2025 from both companies, that's your winner for both.
Yes,
in my opinion.
Now, I do agree with you because we've seen many faces come and go, and no one has like a true identity in AEW. As much as Moxley is like the big leader of the Death Riders, tomorrow they can have him come out there and be face John Moxley again, and people would cheer. Like as we're like, Cody's a face out and out right now. Unless he changes, he is the guy. Cena was the face of the place. Like they have established, identified roles, and that's what makes us care about the matches. That's my problem with AEW is the lack of story. Most times you're booking great matches for the sickos, but where's the intrigue? And then WWE has a story, but we're lacking sometimes on this. It's too much sports entertainment. So
yeah,
Cody, I'm telling you though, the heel turn of the year is shocking to me. Because last year, the New Day won it. And talk about a moment that went nowhere, right?
So does this not contradict, like, why my opinion for the heel turn of John Cena wouldn't be heel turn of the year? This is, like, not contradict because they're going to say, John Cena's heel turn didn't go anywhere, so he doesn't get heel turn of the year, but the New Day got it.
But John Cena's heel turn did go somewhere. It wasn't good, but it went on for 6 months, and he had multiple matches and feuds. He faced Randy. He faced Truth. He did tag matches. He went up against CM Punk, and it all led to the sudden face turn and him having that great match at SummerSlam. But it did go somewhere. It wasn't great, but there was a story told. It was you people, and, it wasn't the best that we want, but it was still a direction. As where I feel like with this one being heel turn of the year, to me is a bit baffling because Naomi wins it. The New Day won it last year, and it was such a great moment to turn on Big E. Yes. Problem there is that you're not going to have a match with Big E. There's no substitute or stand-in for Big E to represent and defend his honor. So he never gets his revenge. They don't get their comeuppance. And they lose the tag titles randomly and go on to mourn them. That was it. As where Naomi, the winner of this year's heel turn of the year, goes ahead and makes it a shocking moment, they said. So months, they said, of compelling storylines, including the mystery attack on Jade, her memorable return at Elimination Chamber to seek revenge on Naomi, Bianca, and all of them being caught in the middle. Jade comes back and whoops Naomi's ass, and that was the reveal of who attacked her. That's how we found out. It wasn't shocking. It wasn't surprising. We knew where they were headed with it. It was either Bianca, Jade, or both of them. And we knew, it'd be better to be Bianca, but all right, fine. Or excuse me, Naomi or Bianca, and Jade got attacked by one. The Naomi heel turn initially didn't have a shock value. It didn't have a surprise like the Cena turn did. The Cena turn broke records, spoke volumes. It was a man that was never going to give up, which he did, and was never going to sell out, which he did, and was never, ever going to go ahead and become heel. And John did. It was surprising. It was generational. It moved mountains, essentially, with how unfathomable it was. People did not see this coming. Naomi, it was expected, it was requested, and it was just ineffective.
We can go back to my text messages. Like, the only one that might have actually saw this coming was me.
Yeah.
Because I got blasted on Twitter I'm like, Cena's going heel, isn't he? And he's like, and everyone's like, no, you idiot. You're a fucking dummy.
Yeah, it's
Why
Cody.
Is he going heel? And
it's Punk. They had all these different ideas.
I'm the one that said, I was one of those first ones. I'm like, I think Cena's going heel.
Yeah.
And then I was right.
You knew it then.
And my thing, though, is there's a difference between a heel run and heel turn. Like, the heel run of Naomi was good. I think that deserves to be
It was
heel run of the
getting
year.
good.
Maybe
It was getting good.
And,
It just didn't have time. It was
I
only
liked
a couple weeks. That's the sad part. It was.
I
It
liked
was
how
so
they did
brief.
that at Elimination Chamber, where Naomi and Liv were starting out the match, and Jade's music hits, and then Naomi, you could see her face like get a little nervous as well because she knew what she did wrong, and Liv didn't know Naomi attacked. Then Liv was pleading with Jade, "Please, Jade, I didn't do it. I didn't."
Thinking she's going to
Like
get killed.
I like
yeah.
that whole. I like that whole concept that they did there, and Naomi was doing good as a heel until the Big Jim got her pregnant.
Yeah, the Big
But
P.
I think she deserves heel run of the year.
It was
not heel
working.
turn.
I think she was going on to have heel run of the years. I think it would have been bigger than what we got. And her feud with Stephanie and Bella, it would have been probably far better than what we received. And that's the sad part. But I don't think it had the same shock value. Shock value might have been out the window, but this, I don't give a shit about long-term execution. I don't care about,
Yeah,
I'm looking at who's
I think
more
people
effective.
need to realize though, we need to get clear because this is what JD got blasted for. There's a difference between heel run and heel turn.
Absolutely. I think
There's
his
a
heel
difference.
turn was more pragmatic of everything that we
his
didn't
heel
expect.
turn, disregarding like the after effects, but even then, like all his matches as a heel were for the most part good.
Yeah. He didn't have a bad match this year that you could point to and be like, some were better than
So
others.
his heel
obviously,
run
but-
wasn't that bad like people make it out to be. Maybe like storyline wise, but he was putting on good matches with CM Punk. Randy Orton.
The story was
Well,
very
like,
disappointing. You waited 20 years to see him as a heel, and then you people.
heel turn, the turn itself, that's up there with Hogan.
Yeah. I mean,
That's
does it
literally-
beat Hogan's? No, but initially I was like, it could. Yeah. Because it was generational.
They had a good story for this. This beats Hogan's heel turn, but like the turn alone is up to like second biggest heel turn in wrestling history.
Yeah. So speaking of best, I mean,
That's just true.
last year, AEW.
Do me if you disagree, but again, yes, schmucks. Heel run is different.
Absolutely.
So the heel turn is second best in wrestling history. Sue me.
Last year, AEW was nowhere to be found when they gave us Best on the Mic. They combined men and women together in this category, which I like. And
I think it should be that way, right?
Really quickly, before I get into this, I just wanted to say, with me, one of the turns that I really liked, which I know you weren't a fan of initially, but I think it may have grown on you a little bit, was Becky's, because she comes back. Oh, she's this hero. She's a savior at Mania. I mean, I saw the turn and the attack on Bayley. It was very obvious, but still, the way they did it. She gets the titles. Oh, I'm here. And, oh, you cost me the titles? Well, guess what? Fuck you then. The real side of her came out. She couldn't keep the mask up. I
criticized that at first. I did criticize that at first. And
it was more because they took the titles from Liv and Naomi, Liv and Raquel so suddenly. And it felt like, all right, what? But then they get them back and you're like, well, what's the hot potato? But I understood what they were going for the story with Bayley. And unfortunately, as we discussed,
I didn't
with
think
Bayley,
I had an issue with her turning heel. I was thinking like, why didn't they just have Liv and Raquel retain? And that could have been a bigger reason for Becky to show her true side.
They wanted her to leave
lose my
Mania.
return match.
Yeah, they wanted her to lose her mind more that she lost the title.
I think it would have been a bigger
match.
impact if Lyra made her lose her return match.
Maybe.
I still think that's.
I still think it's her losing the title that makes her snap. That's what she wants to be as a champion.
I think
so her not
there's
having
an
it
argument
anymore.
that
kind of both,
the return match I return at Mania and you make me lose.
Yeah.
Biggest stage of them all. You make me look like a fool returning.
Mm-hmm.
That could have been the reason, but each their own. But it gave Liv and Raquel the record breaking, right? The 4-time greatest women's tag team champions of all time.
4-time of all time. Yeah, we had AEW nowhere to be found, but this last year we had Drew McIntyre as the best on the mic. He isn't as timeless as Tony Storm, though, they say, who's their choice for this year. Their runner-ups being Hangman Adam Page and Becky Lynch for best on the mic. Becky's good, but Hangman? I'm sorry, I've not enjoyed a Hangman promo in a very long time.
No.
Since he was with Kenny,
I think
was the last
Hangman
time I
promos,
liked anything.
no offense to him, I think like he's someone that they have to like script a little because
he comes
can't go
out
out there
very
and-
paint by numbers, and you've said
Yeah,
it before
like-
as well. It's very formulaic, and it's just.
I think Tony Khan scripts his I think his promos are heavily scripted. By the
I think that he needs to be scripted. I think that might be the problem because he goes on these
I think that's why
diatribes.
Tony Khan realizes it, and like
Yeah.
he heavily scripts him because
And
of
then
it.
he just can't deliver the verbiage well. So Tony can go out there. Tony Storm is damn good on the mic. You know, and people are like, oh, it's just shtick, or it's all sexual innuendo piled on top of, you know, filthy
We've
language.
gotten hated because we've always praised Tony Storm here.
Yeah.
Like, we've always like
Tony's
awesome.
Look back to the women's evolution and her being crowned that night and everything with the classic and how she was supposed to achieve all this greatness. And then WWE did nothing with her. They had that stupid little feud with Charlotte, and that was.
I remember me and you texting, like saying, "How are they not capitalizing on her? She's such a great talent."
Couldn't see it,
Like,
couldn't understand it.
People got mad that they pied faced her, but like, look what she fucking does in AEW, bro.
Yeah. So
like,
this is Tony's one like true success in the women's division, especially this year. I didn't care for or understand the Mariah May heel turn. She won the #1 contendership. She was going to face Tony regardless. So why did she need to turn on her? Like it never.
Well, people don't like
set with
Mariah
me.
May or Blake Monroe now because they think she's just a ripoff of Tony Storm.
But that's always been her. Really, Tony was kind of ripping off on Mariah's point. That's how this whole thing started.
Yeah, that is fair. Yeah.
So
I think Tony's honestly a ripoff of Mariah May or Blake Monroe people. I'm sorry, you know, like the
at that
NXT
time,
diehards
Tony
will come at
wasn't
us.
timeless. She was still coming out of the Outcasts with Paige, you know, Saraya, and the other one that's pregnant, Ruby Riot. So,
Oh yeah, I forgot she was there too.
right? See what I'm saying? So, for them to not mention, and I know it sounds so, again, hate to use the word cliche, but that really is the case here. How they go ahead and don't say, well, CM Punk cut some of the best promos of his career this year, which I really feel like he did. He's had two that stand out to me above not just all else like for the
going
year,
after the Rock and John Cena.
Yes.
You two bald frauds.
bald frauds and everything that he said there with, you know, smacking his arms with the goose. That promo saved the heel turn a little bit because there was no response for weeks from these two. So we're going to have Punk come out the next night and go ballistic. And it was the best. He got screwed by John. He got screwed by friggin' Seth. He got screwed
And I think Triple H is like that though because if he needs something like to really advance, like or shit, like send CM Punk out there, like CM Punk, say whatever the fuck you want. That's how Triple H I think is with Punk, right? Like
Yes.
because I think he trusts Punk more than anyone. All right, if you need someone to go over the edge, Punk's your guy to do that.
because they know that he can push the envelope without messing up and like swearing or going
And
too
he's
far.
professional as well.
He could push the envelope without making it real.
And I think they trust
controversy.
him because I think CM Punk's always still been like professional on screen. He wouldn't like disrespect the business like that.
Yeah.
Like so
And that's the thing with
I
Punk.
think-
With me, like when something really sticks out and something's really memorable, I go back and it's a rarity for me because I don't rewatch a lot of things. So like the AJ Styles introduction in Paris, I've rewatched that a million times. Bad Bunny's entrance in Puerto Rico, you know, there's been certain matches and bouts, but that Punk promo this year I've rewatched several times, and the one that he just cut recently is number
Unbound
2 on
Breaker.
my list. Yes. GTS 1, 2, 3. I loved that promo so goddamn much, you know, and it just, what did it do? It brought an air of legitimacy to Braun Breaker's attempt to cut a real promo. It made Braun Breaker feel legitimized because now
and no
Punk is
offense to-
responding.
anyone on that mic list, this is what I've done. I'm sorry for cutting you off again. I got in
No,
trouble
go.
for that
I mean,
last
we're
night
excited.
on my annual performance review. That was
Right.
part of my points, but I'm interrupting you anyway, sir. So
As you're
Punk,
told to.
could school anyone on that list on the mic. Becky Lynch, you said, was on it. Hangman and Tony
Yeah.
Storm.
Yes.
Okay, like if you had Punk face any of those three on the mic, he would torch any of them
Absolutely.
without
And
a shadow
that's,
of a doubt.
that's the thing. And I don't want to say like, oh, it has to be Punk, but he earned it this year. Like I'm not going off of his
I don't think
laurels in
Tony
past
Storm.
events.
Tony Storm is all right on the mic, but I think we've complimented her more on like how she can go in the ring. She can fucking wrestle her ass off in the ring. I don't think we've ever been on here saying Toni Storm's one of the best mic workers of all time in the business here.
I agree with you because we're just saying like she's got the package, the total package. She's good on the mic. She's good in the ring. She gets good stories and rivalries.
About this, there's selective groups that will be like, "Oh, are you saying that because she's a woman?" Again, this is our opinions. JD had his opinions. Sports Illustrated has their opinions. Again, it doesn't affect anybody on what someone else's list and opinions are. So,
hey,
if you're surprised, mad, relax.
You ready for this one though? My opinion here. I know we didn't. Go beforehand, but just off the fly, like who would my worst talker of the year be? The worst on the mic? And surprisingly, and this is after much consideration, all 10 seconds it took me to come up with this answer, it would be The Rock.
Oh, what?
Think about what he gave us this year.
And you know what? That's great. I'm not like disagreeing with you either, and I hate to even have to say that because The Rock is known for one of the best talkers in WWE history
ever.
Yeah, 90s Rock, he's probably the best talker of all time if we're being honest. The Rock, but like older Rock
promos, he could jab in between, and he could whatever you needed. He just knocked it out of the park consistently, and that's what it was. He's consistently great. So to see him flounder and fail on such a grand level in such a triumphant way to the point where
he would always stumble over everything. He would sound like us.
He sounded worse than us, and I didn't think that was possible. That's a feat. War games. That's a war games in itself. I genuinely could not believe how bad, I mean horrifically bad, he sounded on that NXT show. I was so excited for him to be there. Again, legitimacy. The Rock is on NXT. We've had The Undertaker. We've had, legends have been coming, and we've had but it's not where they're coming on usually and being like, isn't NXT great? Come on. Like they're actually coming out there and adding something to it. So then The Rock comes out there and says nothing for 10 minutes. I know this is
like a different topic completely, but there's a difference how The Rock did it with NXT and how John Cena does it with NXT. So The Rock wanted to make it about himself. Oh, I'm there tonight. Me.
What am I going to talk about?
Star power that big on your developmental brand for the future. You fucking capitalize on that and try to make the future look good as much as you are there, like John Cena did for his retirement match. He's like, you know what? The show can't be about me. We need to have it be about the future, just how I came in and debuted on SmackDown against Kurt Angle.
Yes.
So John Cena, that's why he was like, all right, maybe my match should main event instead, because if my match is first, then people are just going to tune out. See you later. Goodbye.
Yeah. So John heard reason. He was able to be convinced otherwise. Hey, you be the main event, but you get to showcase everybody.
And I think we both said that, right? A little bit like if Cena, it would be kind of bad if Cena opened, even though it was what he wanted. Whatever he wants, he gets. And rightfully so, it's his retirement. But like I think we both said, though, like it would do more harm than good if he opened.
Yeah, and we saw the writing on the wall for it. So that show was designed about the future. Rock, exactly. John wanted to go out elevating someone in some way and showcase, hey, this is what we have. This is the future. And because of I don't understand how anyone in WWE creative and corporate and backstage didn't know that those NXT people are not just exciting in a bubble. Like, it's not just the NXT audience that likes them, you dumb motherfuckers. Like, how do you not get this? But they were surprised by the level of excitement the audience had for all of the NXT talent. So now everyone you saw on that show, plus a few other names, are officially called up to the main roster. Trick Williams, Obafemi, Sol Ruka, Javon Evans, Joe Hendry, these people have all been moved to the main roster now, but they're still in NXT. They're doing that soft call-up thing again. So it drives me nuts in that regard because we don't have that big moment where, like, you're a main roster star now. It just kind of happens gradually, which I feel like the audience doesn't need these introductions anymore. They are watching the product. They know who they are. And if they don't, then show them who they are. Don't worry about trying to reintroduce them. Just let them get to know them. But still, the point is, they had all of this excitement because John wanted to show the future. And that has like a ripple effect. Now they've been moved ahead of time. These call-ups happened early. Like these things are happening because he was not selfish. In the same year that The Rock had multiple segments about what am I going to say on NXT. And then he went out there and cut a bunch of Netflix push corporate drivel that made no sense, applied to nothing. And then suddenly he comes back and I want your soul. And the way he delivered that was shit. And we had no idea where that was going. And then the chamber really still didn't make sense in the grand scheme of things, but it was shocking. And then he goes on Pat McAfee and fucking throws everybody but himself under the bus.
Of course he did.
So Rock would absolutely be my worst of the year. Best in ring. I mean, Will Ospreay is voted here. Last year, they basically didn't have this award. They usually don't go best in ring. I don't know why. They don't have a best wrestler overall, but this is their first year doing that. The runner-ups is Io Sky and Takeshita. I could see Io absolutely earning it. She's put on so many amazing performances from Mania, Evolution, Summers, like on and or WrestlePalooza, whatever it was, like time and time again, she has delivered. She has certainly been a real star this year. We have a lot of great women. Charlotte and Alexa worked really well together. Tiffany, tried to pull out some stuff, but no one felt as on top as she did, certainly for me. But as far as the men's side goes, I can see why Will Ospreay's up there. He's another one though. He's got 26 matches this year, but because of what happened leading up to All in Texas and all that, we've not seen him wrestle since August. And that 30-minute draw with Swerve, the cage match with the Proto Star, and Swerve and then him teaming up to face the Young Bucks. Maybe it's not always my style of match and whatnot, but I can certainly see why the Aerial Assassin's presence on this list is noted. Is he my top of the year? Probably for AEW. Yeah, I was genuinely disappointed that he's not in WWE. But on the WWE side, Wrestler of the Year. NXT, Ethan Page, non-NXT. God, I don't know. That's kind of an issue because we've had so many. I would probably say John Cena. He gave us some of his best matches this year of his career. And that's not hard to argue. Him and AJ, him and Cody, and some others. So I could see giving it to John. And I don't know about you. Do you have a best in ring of the year?
In ring, I would say, I'd have to say maybe Io. That's really
that really feels like it, doesn't it? Yeah, she just she really encapsulates everything that they're trying to achieve there, and it also heads into their listing for breakout wrestler of the year. Last year they had Jacob Fatu, and talk about just having a nothing year, right? Jacob. What did he do? He got the U.S. title and then did nothing and then disappeared and then came back and now again was injured after dental surgery. Their runners up here would probably be my winner on the WWE side. They have Dominic Mysterio and Javon Evans. Javon is like 0-13 in title matches this year, by the way. They've had him go for the title but lose, and they're stuck on that idea. But Dominic is the other side of that coin. He wins at Mania, he wins at AAA, loses to John, but then beats Cena. He's had probably one of the best years out of everybody. But if I was going to go with AEW, I do agree that Kyle Fletcher gets the nod from me. He is the workhorse, as I don't think I've seen anybody bleed more for that TNT title than him and Dustin Rhodes in that Chicago street fight where he stabbed him with a screwdriver. Fair. Holy shit. Fletcher has given us some really impressive and crazy moments. He was this tag team wrestler in Aussie Open. Him and Davis didn't really, they achieved stuff, but he was just a clone copy of Ospreay, a younger version that really wasn't knocking down any doors or making much of an effect on people. And then he comes out there and he's like, I'm not an Ospreay clone, shaves his head in the middle of the ring, and then has that amazing match with Ospreay. And that's what really separated him. And from there, he's had the most matches, I believe, in AEW, 40 television matches to his name this year. And like I said, that cage match to set him and Ospreay apart was fantastic. So I could see him or Dominic being breakout of the year. I mean, it's not like it's Dominic's, rookie year or anything, but you can never go by the rookie years. It takes a while.
Dominic really, I don't think, changed that much from last year with a Liv to this year. Like, I think that's where he broke out into more of a star because he went from Rhea to Liv Morgan, right? And then I think Liv Morgan, people get mad when you say this. I think his association with Liv grew him into a bigger star.
It brought out a different side of him. Rhea made him kind of endeared with the audience. Like, oh, I love the couple. As where him and Liv, it's like, oh, they're taking over. It was a different theme almost. Different.
So you could argue
background.
He's breakout of the year, but who do you think he has more chemistry with? Because he won it last year, I believe. No.
Last year it was Jacob Fatu. So
Jacob Fatu. Oh, it was Dominic runner. Like, I think you could argue he should have won it last year, and this year, but that all depends on who you think he has more chemistry with, Rhea or Liv.
And that's the thing too. Like saying Dominic, he's not really a breakout star, but I feel like this year really is defining who he is as a star. If you're going by the actual name, like rookie year breakout, Kyle would be it. But
who do you think has more chemistry with Dominic? The Rhea Dom or the Liv Dom thing?
I think the Liv Dom has more chemistry. I think him and Rhea was a great starting point, but the ascension of it all was him and Liv. It brought everything to the next level. The interactions have been better and stronger. The character work has been much more intense. I feel like we've gotten more
it's weird.
Out of
like
that.
You never
different ranges.
You never even see like chemistry that good anymore, and they have it. It's like actually insane. The chemistry I think those two have.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't have up to snuff of what they're asking for. So
you know it. So. Breakout of the year that you give it to Kyle?
I would, yeah. I see that. I agree with SI here. That's not a bad choice. Comeback performer of the year. They said, Ilya Dragunov is their comeback performer of the year. This is a new award. The other two people they put up here was Bandito and Becky Lynch. I'm still not crazy about Bandito. I know he came back from a big injury, having a good year. Becky came back from injury, having a good year as well. She's had the IC title, the women's tag titles. She's been against AJ Lee in her return in War Games. She's had many big moments and matches. But I see why they're picking Ilya because, I mean, he finally comes back from injury. And he was away for 13 months, the Mad Dragon, with that ACL torn into multiple pieces. And there he is, big-ass knee brace and all. Comes out, beats Sami Zayn in his first match back. And since then, he's had how many matches? Black, JD, Frazier, Gargano, Axiom, Carmelo, Javon, like so many others. We talk about pressure, making a diamond, from Cole, but he really... He's the unbesieger for a reason, and I understand what they're going for with him. They really put on the rocket underneath his ass, being like, this guy is a hell of a star. He's going to entertain you with pain, and that's all there is to it. The crowd still doesn't know fully what to make of him, but I feel like, I understand him coming back from injury is certainly the comeback of the year. I don't think there's been anybody that came back from injury that's been as effective as him. Liv had a good first half of the year and then got injured and came back. But since then, she hasn't really done a comeback. Like there's no match. There's no, nothing of substance to bite into really yet. She's just helped out with the Cena stuff.
We still argued that she maybe return to her soon.
Yeah. So as far as other comebacks of the year, I think Ilya fits. I really don't know anybody else that would really encapsulate that award. Tag team of the year, they gave to FTR. And their runners up, holy shit, they gave it to the Young Bucks and Brodito.
Okay, now like JD's point is valid here. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? Did they, like, Fraxium won last year? Yes. But then they continued to dominate and have some of the best matches throughout all of NXT, it from all the way up until Stand and Deliver, where they lost the tag titles to Hank and Tank in their final match. They had a 230-day title reign at that point, because remember, they lost it to Chase U really quick and then got it back. So it was already like some crazy long 126, 128 days, somewhere around that. So it's like 350, 60 days they had it, almost an entire year. And then
you
what
could
do they
argue
do?
the Hardy Boys were tag team of the year.
Absolutely.
Because they won
you could.
multiple tag team titles.
Absolutely.
I'm just saying.
You're not wrong. See, the Hardys only featured in a few key moments, like Showdown, a few others, but it was more with their TNA thing. And I know they're still working with WWE, but you figure, if I'm going to argue it, you had Legado del Fantasma, the Street Profits, DIY, Motor City Machine Guns. Who else? Wyatt Six. I know I'm forgetting some other tag teams here. Pretty Deadly, but they beat them all. They beat them all from the time that they got up there in April. And the only people that they haven't beaten was the Wyatts at the TLC match that should have been at SummerSlam, permanently.
Yeah.
I argue that forever should be at SummerSlam, TLC match. Every year, have it. 6-man tag team tables, ladders, and chairs match. Love it.
Same thing with like a ladder match for like the IC title or US title at Mania. I think should be a thing every year.
I miss Money in the Bank being at Mania, with that idea there.
Oh, me too. I don't think there should be a Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
No. Fraxium needs to be having that title. I mean, you could say Motor City Machine Guns had a really good year coming in from TNA. The Street Profits, damn good. I would even argue Psycho Clown and Pagano over the Young Bucks and Brodildo, honestly. And that's not an AEW hate. I know Brodito, they worked well together, but it's only because they were forced to. And they made the best chicken salad out of chicken shit. Buddy's injured still from their Grand Slam ring controversy when they had that broken, smaller indie ring. And poor Buddy went in there and ruptured his ankle into 1,000 spots because they had holes in the mats and it was a bad ring. So he's been hurt since then when he faced Okada. And it's bullshit. The AEW tag team, they want to give it to FTR, sure, but to me that feels like, it just feels undeserved in part of a way, because what did they have? A legendary rivalry with Edge and Christian that really didn't turn out to be much. Like, it was the one match there from the feud, and even that felt like it fell flat. We thought Edge and Christian were going for the titles, and then nothing, and now they've been separated forever. So again, it felt pointless. The Young Bucks, this was not their greatest year. The top guys taking the top spot, not for me. Match of the year, though. This has been highly contested, and last year the winner was Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay at AEW Dynasty. I wasn't hating that decision, but I know people, this is going to be controversial. People always say, Danielson's the best wrestler in the world, and I loved Bryan Danielson when he was in Ring of Honor. I liked Daniel Bryan when he was in WWE. I like some of what Bryan did in AEW, but he got into this self-aggrandizing and egregious mode where, like, how much can I hurt myself to prove that I'm a wrestler? Like, he's got his arm broken in the match, then his neck, then his fucking hip, then his leg, then he destroyed his body to the point where he's numb and just dealing with all these horrific side effects again.
I think this is something like Triple H specifically was trying to protect him from.
A lot of people were trying to protect him from this. Vince was like, I can't let you do these things. And Bryan's like, well, then I need to leave. I need to bleed.
And I know he tried to do those things like early on in 2013, 14, and Triple H had like to call off a match once, right? And he had to call it off with the Stinger. So for match of the year this year, the runner-ups is obviously Moxley and Page at All In Texas. If you take that and you just isolate it for that match, that was a damn good match, but it had so much in it. Like I said, the bed and nails and all the interference. This article so far sound biased?
They're very AEW heavy, certainly. I mean, very AEW heavy. And then they give the other runner-up to Will Ospreay and Hangman Adam Page at Double or Nothing. But their actual winner might be my match of the year as well. I've got certainly a stake in this one for us. It's WrestleMania 41. Io, Rhea, Bianca. Probably one of the best women's triple threats ever. This to me was so damn good.
It is one of the best triple threat matches ever, but I don't even know if that was the best match on that show.
I thought
Arguably,
so.
I think because you could go the other triple threat, Roman, Punk, and Seth. I think you could
Really? See, I
better.
like this more than that. I felt like that was not a bad main event, but this should have been main
I think
eventing to me,
that
really.
I think the Roman, Seth, and Punk had more story elements and a
Yeah.
good match, which makes it a better all over match. In ring wise, you can argue that the women, yes, were better, but when you add the story into it and stuff, I think more intriguing. I think the men's triple threat main event of night one is better.
You might be right. My problem is that since it was conceived and even announced, I literally, with kayfabe, said, "Oh, Seth's going to take Paul Heyman in turn, and that's going to be the crux of this. You know, Roman and Punk push Paul into Seth's arms, and that was it. And they blew themselves up with this favor thing. Oh, he's going to put him into the main event. It's going to do, and it ends up just being Paul Heyman. You know, that was a big important thing of all of this. That was a huge thread that really kind of just was like, oh, it's just Paul in your corner. Like, sure. All right. It played into the story. Absolutely. I get it. But they really set the fans' expectations high. And the match was damn good.
I don't know if it.
To me personally, it let a little bit
perfect.
down.
What?
I was a little bit let down because it was just so predictably what it was. It would just, and predictability is not always the worst, but I was really expecting to be wowed. And especially this opening match for me wowed me. I was not expecting this to be as good as it was. And each of the ladies, it wasn't like EO was above all, like each of them elevated and ascended this match to my personally, one of my favorites of the year. So I see why anybody, yourself included, would choose the men's triple threat. Certainly that is a damn good match and a damn good story. I just wanted a bit more of a surprise. And EO winning at the end was not what I was expecting. Holy, retained Batman. That was shocking. Had what I needed. But that would be your pick, the men's triple threat for match of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't argue that. They said show of the year was Double or Nothing. I mean, last year it was WrestleMania 40.
I don't even think that was their best AEW show, Double or Nothing.
Right? I would have said All in Texas if they were going for it, but
okay, show of the year, Elimination Chamber. What the fuck?
I would have.
How is Double or Nothing better than Elimination Chamber? Elimination Chamber is easily, hands down, the best show of 2025. I don't give a fuck who says otherwise, but I'll let you talk in a minute.
Spaz was in the dome.
Yes, that too. Spaz was in the dome. The women's Elimination Chamber was great. Then you had this Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, amazing match. You had the men's Elimination Chamber. You had the John Cena heel turn, and that isn't fucking show of the year.
I know. And don't forget too, we had two really stacked chamber matches that we weren't sure.
Yeah, that's what I said. The two.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, usually, do you not have such a heavily stacked chamber? Because we didn't know. Is it going to be Seth? Is it Punk? Could it be Drew? I doubt Priest and Paul. They were kind of an obvious, but 4 out of the 6 participants. And then the women's, it felt like it was anybody's game. Is it Liv? Is it Bianca, Alexa, Roxanne, Bailey, or Naomi? And then Jade starts off with the attack. As you said, we also had Tiffany and Trish Stratus coming back against Nia and Candice. We had Kevin Owens and Sammy in that unsanctioned match, which was so good. And then Cena, and then the heel turn. I mean,
forget the run after. This is like we're talking specifically that show.
Yeah,
what happened on that show?
That's why I'm agreeing with you. I think the only other
Elimination Chamber blows Double or Nothing out the wall. It's not even close.
And then for me personally, right behind that, if not close to it, is definitely Evolution. I love the first Evolution, and this one, Becky and Bailey and Lyra kicked it off with a hell of a match. That Naomi and Io and Rhea match, I mean, that match was great, and then Naomi interfered, and you know, Stephanie beating Lash Legend was in that big battle royal. Tiffany and Trish was a hell of a match. You had the Judgment Day taking on everybody in the tag team fatal 4-way. JC Jane defeating Jordan Grace. Like there was some damn good wrestling, some great stories. So I wouldn't consider Texas to be it by any means. I'm sorry, All In. And then, we'll wrap up with...
Wait, they say it again. Double or Nothing was their show of the year?
Double or Nothing was their show of the year.
But again, that wasn't even the best AEW show of the year.
No.
And Elimination Chamber and Evolution blow the fucking roof.
Because they're talking about the Owen Hart Foundation tournament matches. Mercedes and Jamie Hayter, and then Hangman and Ospreay. And Hangman and Ospreay was a damn good match, but...
Are they even on the levels of each other?
No, honestly. And that's the same thing here, because female wrestler of the year. Last year, Timeless Toni Storm. This year, runner-up, Io Sky. They gave it to, of course, the CEO, Mercedes Moné. She didn't even put on the best matches, but because she has the most belts, they just had to give it to her.
Let me do this then. So that goes back to my point earlier. If we're going to go by most belts, why didn't the Hardys win Tag Team of the Year?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot to it. I mean, she had 14 different championships: AEW, New Japan, CMLL, Ring of Honor,
Most
Rev
of them were
Pro.
worthless titles that no one gives a shit about or nobody's even heard of. So, again, Sports Illustrated. And I'll ask you this, too, because I don't know if you fully agreed with the Hardys thing. But, this is just my contradictory, to this point. Again, I'll repeat myself. If this is your Woman of the Year, right? Women's Wrestler of the Year?
Yeah.
Because of all the titles she won, then the Hardys should be Tag Team of the Year.
Absolutely. And then we've got, for men's, that side of things, Hangman Adam Page is their winner. Last year it was Cody. Their runner-ups is Moxley. So they gave it to Moxley and then Hangman. Even if you don't want to consider it because John Cena's retirement year, blah, 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 with the heel turn, with the change, all the matches we got from Cena, if you don't want to give it to him, how you can't, I personally would give it to Punk. Again, I know, big shock there, but
I think
when
John
you go
Cena's
back and think of it,
year.
Yes, it should be Cena. It absolutely should be Cena.
Because he put on banger after banger after banger. Some of his best matches in his career, some of his best promos in his career. This is Cena's Superstar of the Year.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We had the good, the bad, and the Hangman. And the Hangman does not compete to go against. I mean, he's not synonymous with AEW to the point where, he's the champion. And that's the problem. They make it sound like Hangman is the champion of all champions to ever be champion in AEW. But the problem is, I mean, his title reign was very lackluster. It starts with him taking out his, brutally ending Christopher Daniels' career, and then the end of the year for him is trying to recapture.
I'm breaking the fourth
glory.
wall here.
Yeah.
Jakey, check your messenger.
Yes,
Naked
and
or whatever your Jackbox game was.
Yes, so Mr. Naked Jakey, their promotion of the year, AEW, and I don't see how. I don't see how. And that gets me into everything that I want to say about WWE's list, because we ripped SI's list to shreds. They feel like they're more fans of Danhausen than they are of Punk at this point in time. And if you want to be AEW centric, that's fine, but don't hide behind the guise of we're being equal and we're all about equality when you clearly have a bias there. I gave AEW wins in several of the categories. Io Sky would be my winner of the year for the women's, absolutely star of the year. Mercedes, did she have good matches? Certainly. Did she have great matches? No. And did she have the great matches that everybody? No, she didn't. What rivalry has she had? What, with Athena that went nowhere? Who hasn't she squashed? She didn't beat Statlander. She didn't beat Tony. Because of the comments about her having control. If it wasn't a creative control thing, it wouldn't be. And that's what gets me to this. WWE's own list. They decided to not put out their top of the year as it would be by any means. This is
like a top 10, right?
It's a top 25. We're not going to go through them all here, but it's basically
just give me key ones where
that's my plan. So
let's do like a top.
It starts off on their list,
top 5,
right? Top 25, and I'm going to give you the most, but I really want to point this out. Out of everything that they could give us. The first thing they start off with is Omos manhandling Microman on a AAA show.
Get out of here with that.
It
Get
wasn't
out of here with that.
it wasn't a WWE event. It had nothing to do with anything WWE related, but that's their 25th top moment, greatest moment of 2025. And seeing what we have here. I mean, Gunther retiring Goldberg is number 23. Lesnar returning, as controversial as that was, is number 17.
I think that's fair, I guess, because I won't like fucking flip out about that one.
Liv Morgan returning at Survivor Series, too soon or not, I mean, that's still a triumphant return. It was a surprise to many, maybe not to us, but a lot of people were very surprised to see her there to help out Dom, and that was number 11. So
I think that's bigger than some of them in their top.
Going through their top list here is The Rock and Roman Reigns at Raw Netflix debut. The two of them, what? Because they're teasing a match that will never happen again and again and again. That's all we've gotten is teases. Vince used to book off the fact of you cannot promise what you cannot deliver. And for some reason, they've forgotten that. They're number 10 overall. The Rock and fucking Roman Reigns still not facing off.
They're funny.
Number 8, Cody.
We're critiquing them too.
John Cena's farewell. John Cena's farewell. Him tapping out to Gunther, the thank you Cena that rung out from that DC faithful as they showed their final appreciation.
Don't even get me started with that.
Not even in the top 5. John Cena.
Not even in the top 100 or top 1,000. Get out of here with that.
I'm saying tap out, but they're saying his farewell. The ending after the match, him saying goodbye. John Cena's farewell is number 8. So after they had him tap and... Well, I mean, it's his farewell night, all of it. I mean, that would be part of it. But yes,
no.
The fight against Gunther, disappointingly losing in the end.
It's a good match, but...
I mean, that overshadowed everything. And then it got poisoned by the conclusion of the match.
Well,
we didn't get a pinfall. We didn't get a one, but he got booed to begin with. He might get booed a little bit harder, but that's not going to last. He can't run around
just
forever.
A great heel.
He is a great heel, but he can't run around for the next year saying, I made Cena tap like a bitch while facing Asian, Tucker and Otis.
Last night.
That's all he did.
Raw because Raw was worthless last night.
And Austin Theory is suddenly in the vision. I mean, we go through it all. Number 6, Seth aligning with Paul at Mania. I get it, but
yeah, I guess, yeah.
Number 5, AJ Lee returns, and that was a hell of a moment. It was unexpected.
You could argue top 3 just because her name value was there.
Yeah, but then they say number 4, Jey Uso defeating Gunther. And that's the problem.
Okay, yeah, that's not a bigger moment than AJ Lee.
No, it's not. And John Cena at number 3, winning his 17-time championship.
They ruined that shit, bro.
That should have been it. Number 2, I don't understand it all. This is worse than anything else they could have put on this list because I probably hated this moment more than anything in this entire year. I truly, viciously, vitriolically hate, despise, loathe how this played out and everything we got because of it. Number 2, Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank to become World Heavyweight Champion. Gunther gets beat by Punk. And Seth comes out. He was there. He's got the crutches. He comes out. Oh, look at that. I'm not injured. I faked the entire thing.
Like a lot of people in my section were saying how stupid this is. Okay, he's Money in the Bank. What's the point of faking an injury to a surprise cash in? That's the point of the gimmick of Money in the Bank.
There was no point to any of it. The heist of the century 10 years prior was not a heist of the century again. He didn't deliver on one of the biggest stages.
Just done that healthy because CM Punk is beat up and he's not going to beat a healthy Seth Rollins when he's all fucking damaged.
Number 1, I agree with. It's John Cena's heel turn. It had to be.
Yeah, that's fair.
It has to be. But when people are on the other side ranking Naomi's heel turn over Cena's, there's a problem, And
I heard in the top 10. With John Cena's heel turn, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick, but I know we're rushing, not to break the fourth wall, but we're rushing here a little bit. But Cody Rhodes and John Cena's moment where John Cena does the smile hug, then turns evil. Why isn't Liv's moment with Cena in like the top 10? The recreation of it, or
I mean,
Liv hugs Cena, right, and turns evil.
Because I guess
isn't that like the recreation?
I guess maybe if she was good and then turned, she didn't really turn there. She didn't. There's nothing that's accomplished from it. It was all she did was get Dom the title
if
back.
If she was her normal Liv Morgan self, bubbly, smiley, happy, then turned heel, then it'd
be a turn. There was no turn. It was just her coming back and.
Fair. That's fair. I was just saying the recreation.
Yeah, no, because
right.
but it should have been something. Is the point? They let us down with their reliance.
But that was still better than Jey Uso winning the world title.
Right, but they pushed a reliance on moments the entire year. Literally, this entire list showcases everything that you and I have been saying throughout 2025. WWE went from saving themselves with the Bloodline story. That was their real last hurrah. They got fans. Yeah. They got fans back on board. Mania 40 led to some of the longest sellout records for weeks and weeks on end. We're sold out 15 weeks in a row, 16 weeks in a row.
Because shows were good, always just good.
We had story.
You had the Liv and Rhea stuff. You had like the Drew and CM Punk stuff. You had all of that.
It's good to have surprises. It's good to have moments. We keep saying we need title changes on Raws and SmackDowns, not just WrestleMania and SummerSlam.
The crazy last year, you could argue like multiple different things main eventing the show. You're like, oh, okay, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre, that's a great Hell in a Cell match. And we argued like, hey, we don't like multiple Hell in a Cell matches on one show, but Liv and Rhea earned that right to maybe also have a Hell in a Cell match because their rivalry also called for it. Then you had what else was there? The Cody and Roman stuff that year. You had
just so much
CM
of it.
Punk, that you had all of that,
and Drew and so on and so forth. We had so many great stories, so many great rivalries, and then this year they focused on moments. The El Grande Americano stuff was a moment. Even utilizing and pushing fucking Karrion Kross for that short point in time was a moment. And sadly, I just wish I had a more, not just of an answer, but a better feeling towards what's happening going forward. 2026 has me worried. We're heading into even a state where NXT isn't what it was. We're still getting excellent moments, excellent matches, excellent bouts, but NXT is having the problem where it's getting sucked up to the main roster now, and we got to see what they do to reinvigorate themselves. So with this year, we've been through a lot. Trials, tribulations, moments galore, but I hope they get back into what they need to do best, and that's the sports entertainment side of things, and that's the storytelling. For 2025, and for us destroying the Sports Illustrated and WWE top moments of the year, this has been Jake and Cody coming to you for Into Somewhere. Again, tomorrow we'll have our amazing Naughty and Nice creators list. We're going to see where Santa's putting the great creators for WWE and AEW content online. So we'll be going up against the YWC and seeing where everybody falls in. Who's naughty, who's nice. We've got our preview of AEW World's End with predictions. We've got that review coming up this weekend and so much more. Check out for more live streams and everything else. But until then, Cody, tell these beautiful people where they can find you, my friend.
You can find me over on my Twitter or X at Judgment Day Era. You can find me over on my YouTube at Judgment Day Era. And you can find me over on my Instagram at Cody_Onidi_316.
Yes, indeed. Give me a hell yeah. Thank you all for being here.
Sorry. That was for you. Liz, right? Yeet. He likes the yeet.
Yeet.
There you go.
4 letters, 1 word, right? Oh, not that word. Guys, go ahead and follow us on TikTok. That's right. It's now into.somewhere. So tiktok.com/into.somewhere to follow us over there. Follow us on Twitter at Countdown Ended, on Instagram and Rumble in the same name. Make sure you're subscribed on the YouTube, youtube.com/Jake DeMarco. And until then, I hope you have a great and happy, safe and warm Merry Christmas. Stay sexy. And we'll see you all shortly for some more great content.
You call this cocoa, it tastes like a meme. Santa's sleigh bells are ringing close. Hope he's got presents and not more gross shows. This storm's bad, you should bunker in tight. Not with you, Jake. not another night. Oh, Cody, please change your mind. I'd rather get lost in the snow combine.